Welcome into this EPL only show as the Premier League gets the spotlight as the only top league playing over the holidays. Now we get Premier League Matchday 19 starting on Boxing Day and running from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. Now it was a rough weekend with Villa drawing to Sheffield and Fulham not getting a goal, but a late Chelsea goal in stoppage time on Sunday did get us one win in the weekend picks. So that was just 1 and 2, but on the season it's still 36 and 15 in these parlays. Now I was curious about how these teams played last year on Boxing Day in the holiday week. So here are a few stats to consider looking back to last year. Now last year on the Boxing Day week fixtures, we saw only 4 teams fail to get a goal. Now home teams were only 3, 1, and 6. Bets on both teams to score were 6 and 4. Both teams to score in over 2.5 were 6 and 4. Over 2.5 alone was 9 and 1. And of all the 10 games, they all had at least 2 goals in some way, shape, or form. So generally, backing home teams was not a given as a best bet, and generally we did see goals. So with that said, let's jump into this week's card, where I've created 2 parlays from 5 of the 10 games. Now, while you're listening or watching, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you find this info helpful to help grow the channel. Let's get into the first parlay, and it's starting on Boxing Day. It's Bournemouth and Fulham. Now, the table will show Bournemouth 12th with 22 points and Fulham 13th with 21, but both have been in good form of late, especially Bournemouth. The Cherries beat Forest 3-2 on the road Saturday and are now undefeated at 5-1-0 in their past 6 in the EPL, while scoring multiple goals in all 6 of those games. They've also kept 3 clean sheets in those games and have scored in each of their past 10 games in all competitions. Fulham had wins in 3 of 4 prior to Saturday when they lost at home 2-0 at the time to bottom of the table Burnley, despite in that game having 66% of the possession and shooting Burnley 19-7 and 5-2 in shots on target. They were missing co-leading scorer Raul Jimenez to suspension, and he'll be out again on Tuesday. Now, last year, Bournemouth won 2-1 at home, and the teams drew 1-1 in Fulham. I think we should see at least 2 goals again here. There should be at least 2 goals either way. There's been 2 or more goals in 17 of 18 Bournemouth games this season. There's also been 2 or more goals in 14 of 18 for Fulham. Fulham had scored 10 goals in 2 games, but since they have just 1 goal in 3, so if you were picking a winner, I'd probably lean to the home team, Bournemouth here. I certainly think some way we'll see 2 goals. Let's go over 1.5 to kick off this parlay, and then we'll go to Man U and Aston Villa. Looks like the most entertaining game on the Boxing Day card. It's 8th Man U hosting 3rd Villa. These teams are separated by 11 points right now. Now both are off disappointing results. Villa drew bottom side Sheffield 1-1 on Friday while playing at home. Man U lost away to West Ham 2-0 Saturday morning, so we will have a little bit of extra rest here for Villa, having played the 1 day earlier. Man U is just a hard team to trust all season long. They can draw Liverpool 0-0 one game and then lose 3-0 to Bournemouth in the next game, and they have a record of 9-1-8, which shows just how capable they are of either winning or losing nearly any game, as they are basically a 500 team. They have historically, though, been a very reliable team on Boxing Day, having not lost at home on Boxing Day since way back in 1978. But at home this season, they have just 2 clean sheets in 9 games, so that recent home form is not as reliable, and those 2 clean sheets were back in week 1 against Wolves, and then 1 against newly promoted side Luton Town. Man U are currently winless in 4 in all competitions, and they have just 1 in 7, so they're not playing great currently either. Now, Villa didn't win Friday, which was a big upset, as they were minus 500 home favorites, but they did continue an undefeated streak that is now at 10 games in all competitions. In all competitions this season, they've also scored in 25 of 27, but away from home, though, this season they have conceded in 11 of 13 games in all competitions. One of those clean sheets that they kept was against Hibernian in the Europa Conference League, so not a top team at all. Both teams to score is 4-0, 6-1, and 9-4 in Villa's road games this season. Now, last year when these teams played, both teams won at home, Villa 3-1, and then Man U 1-0, and Man U also won 4-2 in Manchester in the Cup competition. I think we should see both teams getting on the score sheet in this game. Let's go both teams to score. And we'll roll this parlay into Wednesday and round it out with Everton and Man City. Now, 5th at Christmas is an unusual spot for City at this time of year, but the EPL has been very competitive this season, and City has just 1 win in their past 6 EPL games. They have lots of draws in that time. They're 1, 4, and 6 in that stretch. They've scored 12 in those 6 games, but they've also allowed 12 as well. Both teams to score bets would be 6-1 and 7-1 in their recent EPL games. Now, in all competitions, though, if you look at the bigger picture, the reading is a little bit better at their record, as they're undefeated in 5, and they have just 1 loss in 15 if you're counting the Champions League and the Club World Cup. In their last 2 games, they were in the Club World Cup where they beat the Urawa Reds 3-0 and Fluminense for the title on Friday 4-0. Now those are clearly not EPL caliber teams though, so take those wins for what they are. Everton are 16th, but they did suffer a 10-point reduction. So the way they've been playing without that reduction, they actually would be right in the middle of the table at 10th. So they're having a decent season, all things considered. The Toffees have been rolling with 4 straight wins of 2-0, 2-0, 3-0, and 1-0. But in the past few days, they lost in PKs after drawing 1-1 with Fulham in the Cup, and then they lost 2-1 in Tottenham on Saturday. Now, last year, they drew 1-1 in Manchester, and City won 3-0 in Everton, so at least we're seeing goals when these teams play. Now, there's been a clean sheet for someone, though, in 5 of 6 recent meetings, but there's been at least 2 or more goals in 15 of the last 16 meetings between these teams, which is how I see this going right now. Everton has been playing well. Man City has not been playing well, even though Man City is clearly the better team. Maybe, Everton gets lucky here playing at home on Boxing Day. Let's just play it safe and go over 1.5 goals, not worry where those goals come from. So Bournemouth and Fulham over 1.5. Man U and Villa, both teams to score. And Everton and Man City over 1.5 comes in at plus 133 odds. Parlay number 2 will come on Thursday, and it's starting with Brighton and Tottenham. 9th, Brighton, they have 27 points. They host Tottenham, who are 4th, who have 36. Last year, Tottenham won 2-1 and 1-0, and there's been a clean sheet kept in 4 of the last 6 meetings between these teams, so this fixture doesn't always see goals. But if we're talking about this season alone, this looks like the most obvious goal-heavy game on the card for EPL Matchday 19. Tottenham games see the 3rd highest goals per match this season at 3.4. They see the 3rd highest rate of both teams to score games as well at 72%. Now, ahead of them in both of those categories are Brighton, whose games average the highest goals per match at 3.6, and both teams to score rate at 94%, with that failing to hit just 1 time this season. The teams are 2nd, Tottenham, and 3rd, Brighton, in shots, and the teams are 1st, Brighton, and 3rd, Tottenham, in shots on target. Brighton is 12-6 to over 2.5 totals. They're also a perfect 18-0 to over 1.5, so there's been at least 2 goals in every Brighton game this season. Tottenham is 13-5 to over 2.5, and they're 17-1 to over 2.5. Tottenham have come out of the stretch that saw them go winless in 5 games to end the season, at least to end this year on a high with wins of 4-1, 2-0, and 2-1 over Everton on Saturday. Now it's now multiple goals for Tottenham, scored in 5 straight games. However, they have conceded a goal in 8 of their past 9. Brighton scoring has cooled off of late a bit with just 3 goals in their past 4 games. But however, still a 2-0 road loss to Arsenal in that run, and overall is the only game where they failed to score during the EPL this season. And at home at American Express Stadium, they're undefeated in 8 in all competitions. They've also scored in 15 straight going back to last season. They'll have a little bit of extra rest, having played back on Thursday where they drew Palace 1-1. This should be easily a goal from both sides. If you wanted just a single bet, both teams scoring over 2.5, you could probably bet as well. But even that is not the best odds. So for this parlay, let's just go both teams to score. And we'll throw in Arsenal and West Ham to complete this 2-game EPL parlay. Now, Arsenal goes into Christmas top of the table with 40 points. They drew Liverpool 1-1 in Anfield Saturday. West Ham beat Man U 2-0 earlier in the day, and they are 6th with 30 points. In all competitions, Arsenal has just 1 win in 4, but at home they're still undefeated in the EPL at 7-2-0. In all competitions, they're also undefeated at 11-2-0 at home this season. In all competitions, home or away, Arsenal have scored in 25 of 27 games this season, and the both times that they didn't do so, they were on the road. They will be at home here. The Hammers have won 3 of 4, but that one loss was in the Carabao Cup, so they have won 3 straight in the EPL, and those were by scores of 2-0, 3-0, and 2-0. However, but all 3 of those wins did come at home. They too have scored in 25 of 27 matches in all competitions this season, but their last 2 road games were a 5-1 loss to Liverpool in the Cup and a 5-0 loss to Fulham in the EPL. Now, these teams played in the Cup earlier this season, and West Ham won 3-1 at home. Last season, they drew 2-2 in West Ham, and Arsenal won 3-1 at home in the league. Bets on both teams to score are 6-1 in the last 7 head-to-heads, and there's been at least 2 or more goals in all 7 of those games. West Ham hasn't won in Arsenal, though, since going way back to 2015. I would like a both teams to score bet in this game, the fact that both teams have scored in almost all of their games this year. However, Arsenal has kept clean sheets in 5 of their past 7 home games, so to play it safe, let's just go over 1.5, so maybe it's both teams to score, maybe it's Arsenal 2-0. We'll play it safe doing that route. So it's Arsenal and West Ham over 1.5, Brighton and Tottenham both team to score, coming in at minus 148 odds. So there you have it. 2 parlays that cover games from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for my EPL Round 19 Best Bets. Be sure to drop me your best bets in the comments down below, and I hope you have a happy and profitable Christmas betting on the EPL.